everyone, welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting. Oh, there's something there. That's why I was like, why am I way off to the side? I couldn't roll my chair right. There was something on the floor. And another episode of Cash or Trash, the video where we look at the hot comics of this week and make fun of them. Not really, but we make predictions sure to go wrong. We had a bunch of people in here tailgating. Aaron is, and I thought I was the anti-spec killjoy. Aaron is, but he's not wrong. I will say it does appear the market is starting to bounce back a little bit. Like it has bounced back a little bit. This recession you speak of, the spending hasn't adjusted to it, but comic books have started to bounce back a little bit this spring. Not a lot yet, so we will see where it goes. But I don't know about all dumpster fires, but they're mostly worth being patient on for sure. Man, my man Unruly, peace, my friend. And John, yeah. Yes, we'll all be saved by Spider-Boy for sure. Single-handedly saved the entire industry. John's looking forward to that. Josh, what is going on? What's happening? Hello, Phil. How are you? GT Key is in the house. Now we're going to make fun of. What are we going to make fun of? Comics? Yes. We've been doing that the whole time. So I just was being more honest in my opener. So anybody who's Fritzies, what is happening? Anybody who is new here, this is on Saturdays. I put out a video where we look back at the hot comics from 6 months ago on two lists, the CBSI Hot Top 10, Comic Tom Key Collector Hottest Trending Comics of the Week. And I see how they did. The books that were hot 6 months ago, how they're doing now. Would you have been better off being patient? In general, that is true. Not always, but most of the time. And so this video we do on Sundays, usually, is where we look at the hot comics of this week and we make predictions sure to go wrong. We try to apply what we've learned over the years, and because I've been doing the look back for over 4 years now. We try to apply what we've learned, and so that we can help spot those traps and dumpster fires before we get there. Hey, dude, Jay, what is going on? Dude, Junior Ryan. Okay, sorry. So with that, so how do I make predictions? Well, I throw these books into categories based on what I think they're going to do. We got our straight cash homie books. These are books that are probably going to continue to go up in price and in value. Generally speaking, we don't get too many of these on the 6 month scale because the book is already hot. It does happen, but you don't get too many of these really because most of the time, even if it continues up, it's not going to continue to jump a lot. A lot of times when we talk about a straight cash book, we're talking about a book that's going to be straight cash longer term versus the 6 month thing. But we do occasionally get a few. We get our worth it books that are probably priced about right. If you buy in here, you're going to be okay. And in 6 months when you come back, they're either going to be basically right here or slightly more valuable. We got our I'll Be Backs. These are books that are the flip side of that worth it coin. They're not that far off the actual price they need to be. But if you're patient, you can probably find a deal. The Traps. These are books that are going to drop 30, 40, 50%. And we have numerous books every week that do this. That are really just way overpriced because of whatever news or speculation is going on in the market. And then finally, we have our dumpster fires. These are books that are going to drop 60, 70, 80+%. And we always have one or two of these every week that are books that are just way, way, way overpriced. Occasionally, we'll throw in whenever the book isn't, it's Tom and Key Collector have a tendency to put books on the list that are selling a lot, but not necessarily moving the needle price-wise. So sometimes these will fall under one of those things. And there's a few other things that we'll throw out there occasionally. Looks like got a couple other people. Planet Arizona is in the house. What is going on? Really has learned nothing proudly. Well, there you go. He who remains, how are you? Good afternoon to you as well. So with that, we are back. There's no Tom Key Collector video this week. So we're back on the pattern of that I've been doing most of the year where I have the CBSI books at the front. We'll talk about those 10 books. And then I pulled some books from the Key Collector Trending 20 that Tom pulls his top 10 list from. This week, there were 5 books that overlap between the two lists, which means there's only 15 potential left that would not be covered already by the CBSI list. I pulled 7 of those, so we'll see. I may be right or wrong. Maybe I don't have enough. Maybe I have plenty. Black Knight, what is up? Frankie, hello, hello. So, with that, let's get into this. First up, we got the Hedge Knight, number 1. This is the convention special, limited to 1,500 copies. So basically, we got news this week that so we have House of Dragon. It's been ongoing. We've had 1 season of that. It's going to continue. I think there's 5 seasons planned of House of Dragon, 5 or 4 or 5. But there's been rumors we're getting a Jon Snow show. I don't know if that's still going forward or not, but the other rumor is we're getting the Hedge Knight. This is another book from another period in the Game of Thrones timeline that George R.R. Martin is writing another book that he has written. This comic is based on that book, and that's what the next show is going to be based on. It's caused this book to jump to this variant to jump to $70 to $90 for a raw copy. A 9.6 went for $225. And given the rate at which these Game of Thrones shows develop, there's no doubt in my mind that this is. Yeah. How much is the original Game of Thrones? The comics that have like Daenerys and Jon in them. They're not really worth that much, I don't believe. I've never seen them on one of these lists. Yeah, meh. I mean, I realize it's a fairly limited variant. Hey, Team Ohana, what's going on? Maybe, but this was from 2003, so this is an old cover. This is not a new book. This is 2003. It's never going to happen, dude. Mind you, this is a book he wrote before. This is a book he wrote in the late around 2000. That came out around 2000. This comic came out in 2003. The Hedge Knight is one. This is a book he'd written previously, but we're never getting Winds of Winter, let alone A Breath of Spring. It's not going to happen. We're not getting any more books. We will never know how it ends. Yeah. So I don't know what John's agreeing to, but I appreciate it. It means I'm right. John, you guys heard it. John says I'm right. That's John says I'm right. There you go. You can't take that back. So yeah, but yeah, we're unfortunately, I don't think he's ever going to finish. I really just don't. But yeah, I wouldn't bet on this one holding value for any kind of period of time, especially as long as it'll take to actually develop this. Next, we got Batman Incorporated number 7. The John Timmons 125 design variant going for 30 to 50, which on 125 is not a good sign to begin with. And I don't even know, I haven't even heard the name of this character, who this is supposed to be. But I know the Ghostmaker book and the Clown Hunter book, neither of those books are worth a lot. And those were characters that were introduced and had a design variant. And yeah, so $30 to $50 for this 125 is more than likely. Oop, wrong tab. We're starting with back-to-back traps here for sure. I would guess this book is like a $15 book, maybe 20. But yeah, it'll be less than Ratio. I would almost guarantee it. Is that really the name? Dusty Bronco? Please tell me that's not. Meh, pass. Really, yeah, it'll probably be 10 to 20. Yeah, that's a good range for it. It'll be under Ratio for sure. It doesn't. Well, we can bring that one up. It does. You're right. It doesn't. It doesn't matter what that guy's name is. So, I used that one for a while. Yeah. His name, don't worry now. Jeez Louise. Hey, Johiba. Oh. John, wow, there's a lot of strong responses to this particular cover. Or maybe that's John from realizing that I'm taking that as he agrees with me. Next, we got Ewoks number 1, the Ryan Brown 1 in 100, where it's like a fire in that Ewok's eyes or something going on. 1 in 100, Star Wars tend to do pretty well. I think this is kind of cool, but only kind of. 150 on a 1 in 100, not really a good sign that that's gonna hold. So yeah, Is there enough Star Wars fans that'll chase this? Is there some sort of first appearance here that maybe that I don't know about that's maybe like going to be interesting? I don't really care. It's Akbar says draft. My guess is it's going to be under ratio in 6 months. At 150 on a 1-100 right now, my expectation is that will be under ratio in 6 months, which makes it a trap. So there you go. We got now that cover scary, cute little cannibal. Yeah. There you go. This cover's F you up. Yeah, it kind of does. They did eat the stormtroopers. You're correct. Next, we got SpiderGwen Shadow Clones #1, the second print, CF Villa, 1 in 25. 125 going for right at 50. It's right at double ratio, just a little over, maybe 50 plus is what they're saying. Strictly speaking, on a 125, that usually means if it's going for double ratio, right at double ratio, it's going to end up around ratio, which makes it a trap. So it's probably like a $25 to $35 book in 6 months. And I'll be honest, like maybe you could get it to, what does it take for a cover like this to go beyond? It has to be like an iconic SpiderGwen cover. Does anybody think this is iconic? No. Yes, we're still talking about the Ewoks eating people. And I get that you can like it, but I don't think it's going to be, I don't think it's enough people are going to love this one to make it really go well. So, yeah. Buy the depth, always. I'm really on. All right. Next, we're going to keep moving. We got Marvel Voices Spider-Verse #1, the John Jang variant. So this is the regular variant. 20 to 30 because people love John Jang. He's a hot artist right now. He's got Spider-Punk on this. It's kind of a cool cover. But there's more Spider people being introduced. This Spider-Boy wasn't enough. We now getting more Spider people. I didn't even bother to look up what Spider people were being introduced in this book because I don't care. How many Spider people can actually matter? How many? This reminds me a ton of that other Spider-Verse book that people paid crazy money for that and are still paying crazy money for, that those characters are going to show up for like 3 seconds in that Across the Spider-Verse movie and then will never be heard from again. And those people paid $1,000 for 9.8. Yeah. I get that. But meh. There you go. Jared was, so our next book, same cover. This is the 1 in 50 Virgin variant. This thing is going from 150 to 175. Did I say what I said? I didn't say what the first one was. I think I should have. The first one, the one Trade Dress is a trap. And again, it's kind of a cool cover, but I doubt any of the characters will matter. But a 1 in 50 going for triple to quad. The rules say that this should be probably worth it. That it'll probably hold pretty well because it's gotten over triple. But here's the thing. You can get the trade. You're going to be able to get the Trade Dress for significantly less. That always makes me doubt whether or not this is going to hold very well. Let me get back on this thing. John's like, I thought you liked this artist, John. There you go. Goddess Spider. Oh my God. Seriously? Apparently I am in the too many spiders, too many voices. Yeah. There you go. Spider stinks. If you need one. There you go. See different value. John is not happy. Spider stinks. Fall like a rock once the movie comes and goes. Yeah. I mean, this cover might do it because I know people love this cover, but this cover doesn't do anything for me. for the 6th book in a row, I'm 6 for 6 on calling traps. I am very negative this week around. I haven't called it dumpster fire because I don't think it's a dumpster fire, but I'm 6 for 6 on traps. Oh. Spider Girl with balls on it. Yeah, this is me. There you go. I like it. I don't see this cover as being all that great, but that's me. I figured I'd be in the minority on that. So I love comics and art geeks for absolutely, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna pay big money for them. So all right, next we got World Tree number 33. So or World Tree with the 33 instead of the E's. So supposedly this wasn't even supposed to be live yet, but it was. And this is, I guess, it was misprinted too dark or something. So they recalled it. And I feel like this is all a big gimmick to create even more buzz. This book already had some buzz. 25 to 30. Here's the thing. If people love this book and this book is a hit, it's probably still an I'll be back. Because if it's not, then it's absolutely a trap. If it's a hit, it's probably still an I'll be back. Because generally, indie number ones don't go for a whole lot unless they've been optioned. And then even then, they don't necessarily hold a lot unless the project is something people love. And even then, it can fall back a little bit. But I would put this as Q cover, be back, FOMO. Because I can't spell. They're saying, well, okay. So one thing I just said is it was a misprint. And then another thing I saw said it was being recalled. So I don't know if there's just the misprint out there or if it's being recalled. I'm not 100% sure on this, Frankie. I found the way it was described made me lead to believe that they were just out there and there was just going to be these misprints available. But then I saw something else that said it was being recalled. I'm not 100%. And yes, they almost never hold value. The eventual book has to hold, there has to be other value other than just the misprint in order for it to hold value. At 25 to 30, I'm putting it as an I'll be back, but I probably should have made this my 7th trap in a row. I'll be honest. But we put it as an I'll be back on here. $75. Jesus. Now, well, nobody who has one's going to destroy it because they can get money for it now. See, so, yeah. I don't know. That's what they're saying. That's what this is. Yes, this is being recalled. Okay, so. No. You can't see the dead body on the A cover. Can we return for replacements? There you go. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't pay a lot for this. I think you guys are right. The more I hear, the more I think about it, we're making this trap number 7 in a row. I'm changing my prediction. I originally said I'll be back. I'm saying trap. There you go. 7 straight traps to start the list this week. I am going to get yelled at for being negative. Anti-spec Killjoy in full effect today. Where's my mouse so I can click on the next book? There we go. All right, a couple of Star Wars books from Star Wars Celebration last week. They're just now hitting the list. That didn't hit the list last week, but are now. Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi, Force Storm, number 1, the origin of the Jedi, which is even spelled differently. And this is all hitting the list because one of the movies they announced is supposed to be the story of the first Jedi. So that is why this is hitting the list. It's a little all over the place. Raw copies are 40 to 125, 9.6 for 200. Yeah. 40 to 125 on this, 9.6, 200. Let's be real. We're several years away from this movie. The odds of this being the story that Disney directly taking this comic book story or really even taking much inspiration from it are pretty slim. There you go. Go Ray. Jedi fatigue. I still like the Star Wars stuff, but yeah, I can totally get that. I just don't think there's any way. I do think this book has carried some value for a while. If you're on the 125 side, this is definitely a trap. If you're on the 40, 50, 60 side, it's probably just an I'll be back. Most of the sales are actually on the lower side. So that's why I'm putting it as an I'll be back. But yeah, if you're getting this at 125, then it's a trap, borderline dumpster fire, in my opinion, for sure. Because I don't think there's any way they adapt this. Obviously, longer term, it probably is a dumpster fire because it's probably not going to hold that much value later. But slimmer than Jim. There you go. Yeah. And that's the only reason, because even 6 months from now, we won't know yet. The reason I say I'll be back is 6 months from now, we won't know yet if this is going to be the story or not. We won't have any clue. So that's why it'll still probably just be an I'll be back, because people will still be like specking on it somewhat. Once we get the show and it's not the movie and it's not this, then yeah, then it's a dumpster fire. Occasionally, but like they take characters, but they haven't really co-op stories at all. Spider Folk fans. Yeah, there you go. Well, more Star Wars. There we go. Somebody already put Rey in the chat. Here we go. Star Wars: The Force Awakens, #1, first appearance of Rey, Finn, Poe. $20 to $35 for raw copies this week. 9.8, 125 to 150, which is interesting. As recently as last summer, this book was going for these values. The values it's going for right now. But it had crashed. It was down to like a $10 book for a raw copy, 5 to 10. It was like basically a cover to $10 book. A 9.8s were under $100. So this book had come down in the last year from where, well, less than the last year from where it was this time last summer. It was occasionally going for 200 on a 9.8. Even with people not loving these movies, we're years separated from them. With Rey back, it's still not back to where it was last summer. I mean, so, which was, there was no spec then. That's just what it was selling for. Because I remember because I bought a couple of raw copies. And I thought I did good because I got them for like 15 a piece. And it was like, oh. And then it ended up being like, you could get lots of them for 15 a piece. So I was like, oh, well, crap. But now I feel better about it. But I feel like ultimately long term, like this being a $20 book, it's probably not out of line. But 6 months from now, my prediction is this is also an I'll be back, even with Rey coming back. We're ways away from that movie, obviously. I still think this is an I'll be back for sure. Charles is not like the Grandma loves Rey. Anyone need one? Frankie's got one for sale. Paid up to $30 for this book. No, I mean this time last year, that was not an unusual price to pay for this book. Hey, little Bill Murray going on. No salvaging the latest trilogy. I get why people don't, because it wasn't a trilogy. It was 3 disjunct and movies that made no sense storytelling wise. I do think I actually enjoyed the character of Rey. I actually enjoyed the character of Kylo, but boy, they didn't treat him very well. They really didn't. So yeah, so I get it when people hate on these. I have it because I just wanted a copy of like all these major Star Wars first. So there you go. Multicolored lightsaber. When's there a multicolored lightsaber? I don't know. Anyway, won't use the legacy stuff because they didn't make those characters. Yeah. I mean, they're using Bo-Katan. They didn't make Bo-Katan. That was Clone Wars, which was pre-Disney. They're using Ahsoka pre-Disney, although they hired Dave, so that's part of it. But so they have used legacy characters. They're using Thrawn, legacy character. So we'll see. I totally understand that too. Finn is the character I actually think they treated the worst, though, like through the storyline. I mean, I felt like, yeah, the first movie, Finn was a really good character. Then movies 2 and 3 happened. Yes, we're still on Star Wars. One more CSI book is not Star Wars. It is Captain Marvel number. I don't know if I ever said I'll be back on that Star Wars book, the Force Awakens book. Captain, it'll probably go back to like 1520 from the 20 to 35 it is now. Captain Marvel number 18, first appearance of L'Oreal, Carol's half sister. She appears for the first time in this book. It's up to a $5 to $15 book. I actually enjoy this character. I've enjoyed this Captain Marvel run. They haven't done as much with her since they brought the binary character in as I would have liked. I actually like the character. I think, having said all that, I think there is, and the book's not going for very much, I think there is zero chance she shows up. I know there was somebody holding an accuser's hammer in the trailer, and she becomes an accuser, but there is zero chance that she shows up in this movie. There's no way. It's only an I'll be back because it's going for so little. I like the character. I think the character has potential. I don't see any way this happens. I really don't. Let's see. Yeah, Finn got the short stick. They stare on their and that's completely okay, man. And they kept him. Basculus does not like Captain Marvel 18. I don't think it isn't a super high print. No, it is definitely not. And like I said, I enjoy the character, but everybody can like what they like. I would buy it I would try to find it in a back issue bin for basically cover, because that's really what you should pay for it. I thought the Marvel trailer looked fun. I know a lot of people, there was a lot of hate for it, but I thought the trailer looked fun. Yeah, I know. This is why it's not good spec. She's not going to show up. There's almost no chance. Definitely. Possibility. So I wouldn't think they would just have her show up as. I mean, here's the thing. They haven't even dealt with her being. Like, the Captain Marvel in the MCU is not half Kree. At least not yet. So that's the whole where L'Oreal comes from. Is from her mother was Kree. And so anyway, we'll see. I just don't think, I think this spec is bad. But hey, it's a fun book, fun character. At least I think it is. So, all right. With that, we are into JP guessing. So those are the 10 CBSI books. The next books are me looking at so there are 5 books that overlap. They were the last 5 books. The Marvel Voices Virgin variant, The World Tree, Dawn of the Jedi, Force Storm #1, The Force Awakens #1, and this Captain Marvel book were all potential books on the Trending 20. So there's a 5-book overlap. Generally, that means there's probably going to be about 3 books that actually overlap. So I picked 7 books from the remaining 15 off the Trending 20 to talk about. Lately, my guesses have not been as good as they were initially. I've been doing about 60% is all. So it hasn't been great, but we will see. Maybe, but we'll see. Yeah. Which we know. So, next, the books that I picked, a couple of them are going to be familiar. We got the Hedge Knight #1. This is the regular A cover, the book we talked about earlier, hitting the list for exactly the same reason as it was earlier. Well, come on, man. You can come in. Puppy dog will be mad that you got to come in and he didn't, but so same reasons we talked about earlier. This is just the regular A cover. It's going for. So this is interesting. Oh, this is interesting. It was going for 15, 18-ish. Then it jumped up. There was a $30 sale, and then there was a $70 sale. So if you're buying at $70 on this one, oh yeah. If you're buying it at 30, it's probably still this. The 15, 18, it's probably an all back. So you can give it what you want. I put it overall as a trap because comes in now. That's not the best cover. It is not. So same reasons as before that we gave before. Next, we got Akira #1. This is not the best image of that. All right, you already went back out. We're gonna let her back out. So go ahead. You can go. I don't think you really wanted in. You just squawked at me as you walked by. So rumors are everyone's favorite director from Thor: Love and Thunder is finally getting to is back on the Akira movie that he was on. Maybe. Is back on doing an Akira live action movie. So this movie is back in production. Taika is doing it. $20 to $60 for a raw copy, 9.8 at $5.25. And I feel like this is probably yeah. I mean, if you've watched the original movie, the anime movie, I don't know why they're going to try to do this. I believe they're going to try to do it. I don't believe Taika's the right director, but we'll see. But I'm definitely putting this as an I'll be back. Movie won't be out by then, but news about this will have cooled. And it will drop back to where the long-term average is for Akira in 6 months. So, Ryan Johnson. You're saying worth it for a raw? I mean, it's not that much up from what it is typically. So, yeah, it's probably, but I'd just be patient. I'll be back. You can definitely find a better deal when people aren't thinking about it or talking about it. Next, Super Mario Bros. So apparently, everybody loves this movie. It's made $90 million again this weekend, or 87, I think they said. This really surprises me that this has become a hit. I saw the trailer and I was like, but apparently people are loving this, or at least some people are, because they're going to see it. This is obviously the first comic series, what is that? I don't remember the name of that book now. I'm blanking on his first appearance in a book. Is not this, but this is his first comic book. So yeah, people are all over this book right now. 40 to 150 on raw copies, and it really has to do with condition. And I didn't try to do it like a really high grade is 150. Fairly low grade copies are 40, but I didn't try to sparse the in between, so I just put the whole range down. Blimp, thank you. I kept wanting to say Blimpy. Peaches. I kind of like the fact that it's gotten good reviews, and then I've heard some more things. I kind of now want to see it, but I'll probably wait till it comes out. Taking that. Well, this is true. They're cross comments. Yeah. I better stop before I get demonetized. What happened to you, Valiant? Fall from grace. You missed your storage out. Dragon has disappeared. Oh, nice. Very cool. So 40 to 150, 9.8, 2,500 on this one. This book obviously has a ton of value all the time, but you get away from the movie and it's probably going to be an I'll be back. It'll go back to closer to the long-term average. I don't think the movie ultimately changes the perception or value of this book long-term. So Josh giving us a positive review. There you go. Only value books are increased in value. Yeah, well, I knew it was wrong, but that's what I kept thinking of. I think Blimp is still would probably be worth some money, but yeah, this one's definitely going for good money right now. Next, I don't know. This I feel like Tom will put on just to discuss it, how wrong this is. And there he is, Spider-Boy. Only it's not Spider-Boy. Spider-Boy #1 from 1996, the first appearance of the amalgam Spider-Boy, which is meant to be a combination of Ben Reilly, because he was Spider-Man at this time, and Connor Kent. So Superboy and the Ben Reilly version of Spider-Man. That is who this character is based on. It was part of the amalgam thing. So the Spider-Boy that appears in 7, the writer has said is not this character. He didn't say who he was yet, but it's not this character. He has stated flat out on the internet multiple times, this is not the Spider-Boy you're looking for. But people were paying up to $25 for raw cop, $15 to $25 for raw copies, 9.8 going for $150. Let's, yeah. More traps. I mean, if it was going for any more, I'd probably call it a dumpster fire. Only because it's not going for more. Is it a trap? Yeah. They going for me. It's like, get it on my screen. I don't want to see it. Pete trolling. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And now's your moment to sell it. There's probably no other moment to ever sell it. So, all right. Next, keep moving. We got Secret Origins number 14 from 1987, the first appearance of Rick Flag Sr. because Frank Grillo got cast as Rick Flag Sr. for the Creature Commandos anime. I guess he's doing the voice for the animated series, plus he's going to be, because they're going to bring Creature Commandos to live action, he's going to be this character for live action. Obviously, we've seen Rick Flag in the Suicide Squad movies. I don't know if any of that's still part of the DC universe or it's all going to be reset, but this is going to be Rick Flag Sr. $5 to $30 for raw copies on this one. With, mid to high grades, you're going 15 to 30. 9.6, 80 to 90, no 9.8 sales. Only because there's a lot of sales in the 15-ish range. Do I put this zombie back? If there were more sales in the 20 to 30 range, I'd call it a trap. But yeah, it's an zombie back. For sure. I know we're going to get Creature Commandos. I can't imagine this mattering for sure. Looks like Spider Nightwing. It's supposed to be Spider Superboy. I can't download dinosaurs. There you go. Well, I think the animated series is coming soon. The live action is years away for sure. Nothing. So yeah. I don't know that you can get $30 for this. There were some sales for $30, but not consistent. So it is $5 to $30. All right, next. I picked one of these. They had a couple of these in here. So supposedly, one of my favorite characters from the High Republic stuff, Vernestra Rowe, she's from the books, mostly. She does appear briefly in the comics, not a lot. Is been confirmed for the Acolyte series, which is she's gonna be old based on the timeline of when the Acolyte series is. She has one of the most screwed up first appearances you guys can imagine. So Key Collector says this is the first full appearance, number 5. Because there's actually a page that focuses on her and her Padawan in a fight in the story. Like it's just the two. She's the focus of the page. But she appears in 2, 3, and 4. She appears in issues 2, 3, and 4. One of them, she's just in the background and doesn't say anything. Another one, they talk to her and she talks back. I don't know that they ever actually. I'm not sure when they actually name her. I think one of them they say her name, but I think that one she doesn't respond. It's been a while since I reread these. But it's so weird. I don't know. It's just a really hard book to know which one is really going to be the one that people are going to go after. I feel like 4 should be. I think 4 is the one where she speaks and they say her name. I feel like that's probably the better bet than this one. But yeah, I enjoyed the series, but yeah, and she's one of my favorite characters, but it's a screwed up trying to figure out what people are going to want here for sure. It's currently going for 5 to 15, so not a big deal. 70 to 90 for 9.8. It's probably worth it. This one's been a $10-ish book anyway. I put it as worth it. The Acolyte series is not that far off. But I don't know that this is the book. We'll see which one people settle on as being the book, because she's not on the cover of any of these four. I don't think she's even on any of like the like exclusives or anything for any of these four books that we're talking about. She's on the cover for the annual. She is on some covers later for the annual, but she's not on the cover of any of these. So I don't know which one would actually is going to be the one. I have all of them too because I read the whole series. But yeah, by the book of the Rex. There you go. All right, and then the last book that I picked to talk about this week, another Dawn of the Jedi. This is Dawn of the Jedi 0. I felt like this is the one Tom would be more likely to talk about instead of 1. Same sort of thing when we talked about 1. Origin of the Force and the Jedi here. Rock Hobby 60 to 80 on this one. This one's a little harder to find than that number 1. That's why I figured Tom would maybe talk about it. Again, we're getting a movie based on the first Jedi. Something tells me it won't have anything to do with the story. That's just me. I would put this also as a big, giant trap instead of an I'll be back. At the very best, it's an I'll be back, but at 60 to 80, my guess is you're looking at like, if it's $30 to $40, yeah, in 6 months, that's probably good. Don't even put that energy into the universe, please. Stop it. Stop it. So that's it. Those are the 7 books I picked to talk about from Tom's list. We'll see how good I did. I haven't been doing probably 4 out of 7. Probably is all I did, but we'll see. I want to thank you guys for hanging out. We're right at our 40 minutes. And yeah, so we'll see. 6 months, you'll see how wrong I am. And with that, I have other things to do. I'll be back later tonight for D&D with the boys at 8 Central. Otherwise, we will see you guys later. Bye. Whoop, went the wrong way. There's my outro.